Hello everyone, and welcome to my Days of Our Lives official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up.
Brady will be able to tell that Ava did not write the text she promises her captor. Very unlikely. The woman in white demonstrates how skillfully she constructed the fiction that she was fleeing to China. What if I told the truth instead? She will actually travel to Hong Kong and move aside. However, the woman doesn't believe her kind offer to relieve her of the burden. Rachel Blake of Days gives a condescending smile. Ava can keep her company because, aside from the parrot man, she is bored and lonely. She replaces the gag, however, for the time being. Rachel is taken to her therapy appointment by Kristen and Brady, who meet in the DOOL living room. Kristen implies that Brady misses Ava, and he is exhausted. He is obviously furious that she broke up with him by text and sailed off to China without saying anything. Kristen says she doesn't like seeing Brady hurt, but Brady lashes out that he doesn't want to discuss it. Before this, Brady believed she was on board. They were both taken aback. He deserves better, Kristen tells him as she gives him a hug. Kristen advises him to text her and inquire as he simply cannot comprehend why she didn't notify him before she went. He does, and Kristen hears a ding and discovers Ava's phone as she goes to retrieve Rachel's backpack. As she travels through it, she inhales deeply. In the DOOL living room, Kristen from Days gazes at a glum Brady while they converse. All of the messages were written by Rachel. Kristen takes out the Blake family album and digs farther into the back. Oh no. She conceals everything and then makes up an explanation about not feeling well when Brady comes out to see how she is doing. Rachel will lie down if she asks him to take her to therapy. Kristen leaves through the front door as soon as he leaves. Jada looks at her phone in the Hernandez kitchen before attempting to call Rafe once more. He lets it go to voicemail since he's too occupied viewing a spicy movie. However, EJ phones while seated in bed, and Arnold eventually picks up. Arnold will be replacing Jada, which he is not too excited about, but EJ commends him on his performance at the wedding. Now that I am this close to the finish line, I am not going to stop. Belle hears him before she enters the bedroom. Arnold demands more money, and EJ hangs up. Belle makes it apparent that she is aware that the call was intended to ruin Jada's career. She is aware of the issue, and that he is solely to blame. She doesn't understand why he was so certain that Rafe would uncover something or why he would hire him. She doesn't believe his made-up justification until he claims that the only way to ensure the proof was impenetrable was to employ Rafe to dig up the dirt. Days. Belle sits in a robe on EJ's bed while he sits shirtless with his arms on his knees. That is a really heinous act, Belle exclaims. He claims that Jada is the bad guy because she got him fired despite breaking the law herself. Proven to be true, Belle maintains. As he believes that Belle is only concerned about being exposed in her job without Jada, EJ begins to flirt and undo her robe. Then they resume their battle. When they're done, EJ jokes that he heard Sammy, and Belle gives him a friendly slap. Belle says that they won't live in constant terror of her sister, but EJ believes that perhaps they ought to have a strategy in place in case she finds out. Belle assures him that Sammy has no control over their actions and that they are not concealing. While he gets some croissants, EJ sends her to take a shower. When Steve arrives to Jada's, she informs him that she is on administrative leave. Steve reassures her that he doesn't believe any of it and that he is there for her, but she is still in shock over everything that has transpired. For Rafe, that's more than she can say. He swears he'll clear her name. She is in complete shock and describes what transpired with Rafe as freaking bizarre. Days Steve and Jada converse in her kitchen. Yes, Steve concurs. They must therefore take into account EJ, the origin of it all. He believes that EJ hired Rafe and made up the proof to support his claims. Yes, Jada concurs, but how is it demonstrated? Steve will start working on it because he has some ideas. He must first see how Kayla is doing. Then he tells Jada about Whitley King and all the bullshit about body and soul. He's on the case, though, after seeing how his wife is doing. She assures him that Jada is too. Just before Jada arrives, Belle gets ready and goes to the DOOL living room for breakfast.
Belle.
Why are you here? Belle says she is going to see Johnny, her nephew. Jada continues and inquires as to EJ's location. When they discuss what transpired, Jada implores Belle to believe nothing. All of this is the result of EJ. EJ tells the real Rafe that the wedding never happened when they are having breakfast together down in the tunnels. Jada was dumped at the altar after being revealed to be a corrupt police officer. Arnold will then take over Rafe's previous position. A jerk is in charge of Salem police. He will never succeed. EJ happily gives Rafe breakfast while laughing that he's getting what he wants. EJ enters the area, sniffing a platter of food while Day's Rafe sits in the DiMera tunnels, gagged and strapped to a chair. Paulina arrives at Arnold's door. Gabby directed her to his location. The police detective who gave Rafe the evidence against Jada is the person she demands to know. Rafe informs her that he is unable to do so. He pledged to keep his source safe. If he found anything strange in what the man had discovered, he would let her know. Playing the heartbroken lover, Robo-Rafe informs Paulina that Jada suffered from imposter syndrome. Thus, he does believe it. Paulina simply looks at him, her mouth hanging open. She goes on to state that she values his candor. She regrets having to put Jada on the sidelines while they investigate the serious accusations. She must now designate a temporary commissioner. Arnold offers to fill the role, albeit grudgingly, but Paulina has the final say. Paulina acknowledges that she has run out of ideas. Therefore, you've been hired. Although Paulina doesn't appear pleased, they shake on it. Dazed with his palms out, Arnold speaks animatedly to Paulina in his room as Rafe. When Steve meets Brady at the hospital in the last seconds of the show, he is informed of Rachel's therapy appointment. Brady expresses gratitude to Steve for connecting his daughter to Ava's texts. By accident. Since Ava left for Hong Kong to visit Tripp, Rachel no longer views her as a barrier.
Did she? That's odd then.
During their conversation last week, Tripp never brought that up to Steve. Brady claims it just happened, and because he is unable to get through to Ava, Steve offers to contact his son. He asks Tripp to put his mother on the phone when he calls.
Oh.
Is she not present? Days in the Blake home, Kristen sits on the covered couch as Ava leans forward, still strapped to the wheelchair. Ava is struggling in her chair when Kristen actually appears. Oh God. Exactly what I expected. She describes how she found Ava. In response, Ava tells Kristen that Rachel had assistance and describes how she became a hostage there. There's another person here, the lady in white. Kristen spins around, gazing. Mom? For those who were concerned about Days of Our Lives' joy after it appeared that Alex had forgotten about it, it appears that all turned out well for her in the end. Alex quickly realized that Joy had also touched a script after Stephanie told him about the poison scripts that were aimed at actors. The two lovers hurried to her aid.